Many years ago, I was at a party and I was talking to a woman, I'll call her Lisa, and she was telling me about how she was online dating. And she confided in me that she was getting around 150 messages per week. And even though I hadn't been doing any online dating for many years, and when I had done it, it was such a short period of time. But even then, I was surprised because I thought that has to be a lot of messages, right? And one of the things that tipped me off is that Lisa was absolutely gorgeous. She looked like a supermodel. And so it made sense to me that, that wasn't the average. You might not be getting 150 messages per week in your inbox. And when I finally did stick my toe into online dating, I definitely was only getting a fraction of 150 messages. But even without the added benefit of being a supermodel, I'm guessing that when you go out on the town that you get interest. Why? Because there's the inner glow. You have your own attractiveness, things that make you draw attention to you. And that is what I want to talk about in this video, is bringing that out so you can increase the amount of attraction, the amount of interest you're getting in your inbox, and even upping the quality of the people that are messaging you. And we can do that just by doing something that might seem a little unusual. We're going to bring the real world into our online dating profile. I'll tell you what I mean. Our photos that we add to our profile are usually not matching our real energy, our real attraction energy if someone were to meet us out in the real world, right? That goddess energy, the glow that we have that draws people to us is just usually not really on full display. It's not really brought out because most of us are not professional photographers. And I have 3 words for you, and they are: get professional pictures. Now, there is a way to go about it so that you're going to get the most out of your session time with a photographer. The first thing is you want to just be looking at your location where you're living and seeing who is out there, whose style really makes you feel like, yes, this is a reflection of how I see myself, because different photographers have different sort of flavors, and you want to find the flavor that's sort of like how you see yourself. Just like if you were to go and get a wardrobe, you're going to know if you're a person that is more casual or more chic, someone that is more sort of bad girl image, someone that is going to be presenting more of a sort of business-like image. Whatever it is that you feel expresses your inner self the most, you want to look for a photographer that is really already doing that kind of look so that they can step right in and just you're in that same groove together, rather than trying to choose someone that is a good photographer but maybe not on that same page as you are. Now, why do I want you to use a professional photographer? Well, I don't know if you've ever used a camcorder. And, right before you get in front of the camcorder, you look in the mirror and you see, okay, I look great. And then you look at yourself in the camcorder and it's picking up all sorts of things, like maybe blotchy skin, maybe it's changing the color of your skin. And there is a reason why you don't look like you do in the mirror when you're using a camcorder. And one reason why it's I actually wrote it down, it's called camera distortion. So depending on where you are in relationship to the camera, it can be distorting your features. And also a 2D image is very different to a 3D image. And so when we look at it, it can seem like it's not matching how we are being seen and how we're presenting and showing up in the real world. So on top of that, if we're not a professional photographer, we may not really understand how to control the lighting, where to stand, so that we can get the best possible image. Now, even if you were to use a professional photographer, like I have a cousin, she does brand photography, and she talks about how sometimes people want to save money, and so they'll choose to do their own makeup or their own hair. And she said they're always disappointed by the end result, and that just spending that little bit of extra time and money to find someone that can professionally get what you're wanting from your hairstyle, from the kind of makeup that you're going to be choosing, because makeup can be slightly different for camera than what you're used to using in the day-to-day world. And so that's another highly recommended thing, to use actual professionals, even a professional to help arrange your environment. Now, when it comes to environment, we don't want to skip that, because where you're going, the things you like to do, your home, all of these things are projections of where you want to be, where you want to go, like who you want to be with in life. Are they also going to be drawn to those types of locations? Is that where they actually see themselves as well? So when we have our pictures done in an environment that expresses like fully where we want to go in life, this is another signal to draw in the person that we really want to attract. That being said, I would recommend not necessarily renting out a space and portraying that as your home. I would say definitely film yourself in your own home, but if you have a stylist there, if you have a professional photographer, they're going to be able to show your environment, where you live, in its best light. Now, you might be thinking that this all sounds like catfishing, but that's not the case. What I'm talking about is bringing out your inner beauty, feeling confident in front of the camera, not changing your how you look to such a degree that you would be unrecognizable. And that reminds me of going on a date once, someone that I had met online. And when he got there, I was ready to leave immediately, because his photos were from actually like 10 years ago. At least that's what they look like. He looks so much younger on camera. So definitely let your photographer know that you want to be expressing who you are now, and enhancing that, not just enhancing, but expressing who we really are through the image, not trying to portray ourselves as a totally different person, right? We're not trying to just transform so drastically that someone wouldn't recognize us and feel like, oh yes, this is the person that I saw in the images and that, I was attracted to when I saw their profile. In fact, if you do it right, you're going to look more like you do in real life than you would if you were just to take your own pictures. And that's what's sort of wild, is that we tend to think that it's more authentic to take pictures of ourselves and upload those. But the reality is, taking professional pictures can actually make you look more like you really do in real life, right? Because we want that glow that often gets covered up if we are not professionals, not used to taking pictures that are going to bring out our best features. Now, if this sounds very expensive, if it sounds like a lot of work, let me ask you this. Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money to bring in professionals that are trained to bring out your inner glow, to raise your beauty to the level it really is when someone meets you face to face?